Thank you for joining us today on Cape Chronicle. I'm Audrey Kane. In this episode, we will be talking with Marla Mills of Old Town Cape, Joey Keys from the Southeast Missouri Food Bank, and Sandupa Da Silva from the Missouri Department of Conservation. That's all ahead on Cape Chronicle.
Fast-paced family life in need of a slowdown?
Hello, I'm Dr. Spruce. Did you know all those green shapes on maps are parks and forests? It's true. Visit discovertheforest.org and plan to visit a park or forest near you, instead of just wondering what it would have been like.
While the word forest might make you think of distant lands from far, far away, please note parks and forests are closer than you think, which means things like beautiful scenery, fresh air, and family time are also closer than you think.
Welcome to Cape Chronicle. I'm Audrey Kane. Lots of changes happening downtown with a hotel opening up, renovations at Ivor Square, and forthcoming Christmas cheer on the way throughout the district. And here to talk with us about what's up in downtown Cape is Old Town Cape Executive Director Marla Mills. Marla, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Audrey. I appreciate it.
So, hotel opening downtown, that's building some excitement, of course. And then we talked a little bit before this about Ivor Square, and some people may not know where that's located or why there is even some renovation going on. So talk with us a little bit about that.
Well, we're really excited. Ivor Square is the Common Police Courthouse gazebo park, some people call it. It's kind of behind the Common Police Courthouse, and we're doing renovations because Old Town Cape was awarded a national grant through the National Trust for Historic Preservation in partnership with American Express. And it was a $127,000 grant to redo the gazebo itself, to put a roof reflective of the original roof. It was built in the early 1900s and had a roof on it originally, a real roof. And so we're going to put a new roof back on there. We've refurbished the fountain, and we're going to be doing some signage that really shares with the community the story behind the Ivors family and why the courthouse was renamed Ivor Square.
And then we were also talking about a statue that will be placed there.
Yes, along with, well, we're also doing some landscaping, but there was that grant, and that process really built some excitement, and there were people in the community that found a statue of the United States Colored Troop, kind of in commemoration of the USCT, and really wanted that to be part of our grant, but it was really a bigger project than our grant would allow. So in conjunction with Old Town Cape, they are raising money to place a commemorative statue that is just gorgeous. It's a statue that will be placed on the grounds in June, early June, and as kind of part of the revitalization of those grounds and commemorating the role of the African American soldier in the Civil War.
And you mentioned the Ivors family, but what's the significance of the Ivors, and then how much they contributed to Cape Girardeau?
They were kind of reflective of James Ivors, the husband, was signed up for the war at the Common Police Courthouse and was followed. He was one of the first African American soldiers that signed up in Cape Girardeau, and there were many to follow him. And so, but in addition to that, he died after he joined the war, and then his wife was able to procure widow's pension, which you know, for a woman in that time was a big deal. But not only that, she was an African American woman, and so she was able to establish her family. She bought property in Cape Girardeau and stayed and raised her family here in Cape Girardeau, and over off of I think it was off Jefferson Street or somewhere. But you know, their family is just a great story of the sacrifices made and the kind of the movement forward of the African American family in the area. And so,
what a nice representation to have in Cape Girardeau. We have a lot of diversity here, so that's great to show that representation. So the hotel opening, big deal, bringing a lot more people to downtown, but there's also something else. I hear a whisper of the Esquire Theater being refurbished. Now, how is that going to happen?
Sometimes I have to pinch myself, Audra. We have so much going on, and we're so excited about the Courtyard by Marriott, you know, being part of downtown. It's just a huge deal for us. But we're looking forward to also some additional development. There's kind of regional local developers who have kind of formed a group that are revitalizing the Esquire Theater. The city has formed a TIF around the Esquire. Specifically, it was outside the downtown TIF areas, and so it was not eligible for that incentive, and so the city formed that, which then allowed them to move forward with plans to purchase the Esquire and to start redevelopment of that.
And what does TIF mean?
I'm sorry, tax increment financing. It's a redevelopment tool that is permitted by cities that really, and the Esquire, we have said all along, is kind of the model for that redevelopment tool. It's an old, dilapidated property that, you know, without some kind of assistance would not be able to be revitalized.
Well, it'd be nice because it's kind of an entry point from the university into downtown, and so having that refurbished would be really fantastic as sort of like a little starting jewel on the path to downtown.
Exactly.
So, something else we were discussing earlier was the lighting and the artwork in a pedestrian path that cuts between Spanish and Main Street downtown, and it's kind of attaches Main Street to the parking area behind CP McGinty's.
Yes.
So what is that installation for and about?
We are in the process, Old Town Cape works with a group, a community improvement district. There's a downtown community improvement district, which is a independent political subdivision. It's a taxing entity, and so they raise money to really enhance services and beautify the downtown area, and then they contract with us to kind of provide those services, and so we're managing that for them. And as part of beautification, we're doing lighting across that. It's a pedestrian alley only; you can't drive in it. So it goes from Main Street to the alley right behind Main Street, kind of north-south, and it does connect parking, as you said, for people, and so it's going to light it up. It's crisscross lighting, and then Malcolm McRae has done some fabulous artwork for the panels on the McGinty building that are added, and will add some really
kind of like a little hidden gem downtown. And speaking of downtown, a lot of things going on because the annual Small Business Saturday coming at the end of November, as well as the Parade of Lights, and then an open house. So the Small Business Saturday, celebrating small businesses, and what role do you all have in that?
Well, we are, Small Business Saturday was started by American Express, and we are what's called a neighborhood champion for American Express, and so we coordinate the downtown efforts around small business. We get businesses to sign up, they do in-house promotion, and then we promote the event kind of overall and promote all the businesses that are participating. So it's a great day to come down. All the businesses that we right now, you know, we're going to have somewhere around 40 businesses that participate, and they'll all have some kind of in-house promotion. And so it's a great tool to
and that's all pretty close in the same time period as the Parade of Lights. What's the theme this year for the Parade of Lights?
The theme this year is celebrating. You've caught me. I've forgotten our theme this year. That's quite all right.
I'm so sorry, but I know it'll be on your website.
It is on our website, downtowncapegirardeau.com. And it is the day before the parade. The Small Business Saturday is on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and the Parade of Lights is on the Sunday after Thanksgiving.
And then there's an open house.
The downtown open house is on the first Friday in December.
Okay.
And so, you know, kind of all, they just follow each other. And the downtown open house is on the Friday and Saturday. It also runs from 9 to 3 on Saturday, September 8th.
A lot going on downtown.
A lot going
lot
on.
to remember and a lot
Yes,
to keep
yes.
track of. So that's
Obviously,
okay.
I
Don't worry about it.
Need
People
to
can
practice
look
my
it up.
memory skills. Yes.
That's all right. Marla Mills, thank you so much for coming in. We've been talking with Marla Mills, Old Town Cape Executive Director. And on the way, we'll check in with Joey Keys of the Southeast Missouri Food Bank. That's next on Cape Chronicle.
I'm Rudy Tempesta. I'm 92 years old. I fought in World War II. Then I came home, worked for the post office for 70 years. I've been getting Meals on Wheels, and I enjoy it. The most important thing about Meals on Wheels is you meet the people, which to me is fantastic. You need people to keep your brain moving. That's what life is about. It's love and having a conversation with people.
Being a dad is an adventure full of special moments.
A cruise?
Surprise!
Unexpected moments.
I got this.
And even awkward moments.
Okay, Dad, thank you.
But every moment you spend with your kids, even the smallest moments, can make the biggest impact on your child's life. So take a moment to be a dad today.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool. To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Cape Chronicle. I'm Audra Kane. We are joined now by Chief Advancement Officer of the Southeast Missouri Food Bank, Joey Keys. It's good to see you, Joey. Thanks for coming by.
Good to see you, Audra.
So let's just jump right in, because I think that a lot of times people don't realize what the level of food insecurity is in Southeast Missouri.
The need is very great in Southeast Missouri. 1 in 4 households are food insecure, which means they don't know where their next meal is coming from. Between us and our agencies, we serve 63,000 individuals per month.
63,000 individuals, and that's just in Southeast Missouri, right?
We have a 16 county service region in Southeast Missouri, yes.
Okay, and so just like, I tell you what, here's the question I have. Who qualifies for food from SEMA Food Bank?
Anybody qualifies.
So you don't have to be of a minimum income or maximum income or any of that kind of stuff?
Not for our pantries or our mobile distributions. If someone feels like they need food, they need extra food on the table, they go to our pantries or go to our mobile distributions, and we do not discriminate as far as income, gender, anything like that. If you need food, we err on the side of grace, and we will distribute food to the individual.
And to be able to find locations for the pantries, they can go to the website, correct?
They can, yes. Now there are some senior programs that are income dependent, and you must have reached certain age requirements, but as far as our general population, they can receive food from the pantries.
Okay. And you mentioned mobile pantries. How many mobile pantries do you all have?
I believe this year we're going to reach over 250 for the year.
250?
250 for the year, yes. So that's a lot. So most of our pantry hours are during the day, Monday through Friday. Sometimes they're odd hours, not a lot of availability at some of the areas. And so with our mobile pantries, it allows us to have food distributions outside of normal office hours, so it's outside of working hours and on weekends. So people that they work for a living, they can't make it to the pantry, but they still need some help with their food, putting food on the table. they came to these pantries and received food.
Okay, and we chatted a little bit before today, just so that I'd have an idea about those mobile food pantries, but you said there's also a program that you all are in partnership with the Department of Health, is that right?
No, local health departments.
Local health departments. Okay,
yes.
and what is it that is going on as far as that partnership is concerned?
What we found, a lot of our clients, they do have early cases of chronic diseases and illnesses like diabetes and high blood pressure, and so to help catch this and refer them to specialists and free prescription services, we actually go to some of our mobile distribution sites, our pantries, and also senior housing, and we do the vitals and check the vitals of these clients, and so we can help refer them to the services they need.
Okay, so when you say we, who's doing those kinds of checks? Do you have volunteers or are there paid staff at the food bank?
We have a staff member who's paid for by a grant, because there's a grant with the health departments by Missouri Foundation for Health, and so we have someone from the health department and our staff member, and they go and they take these vitals, so yes.
Awesome.
So it's a very good program, very good service that we can provide right now.
And my other question to follow that up is volunteers. Are you always looking for volunteers, or do you feel like you've kind of got enough people to go around?
I think like most nonprofits and charities, we're always looking for volunteers. Our volunteers, they've helped fill our senior boxes, which we talked about a little bit earlier. I want those are our commodity supplemental food program, and so we always have seniors over 60 that are 130% or below the poverty level. So it's really not much money for seniors to pay for their rent, their utilities, and put food on the table. So our volunteers, they pack the boxes. We put a label on the box saying who packed the box. So if it's your church, your service organization, you know who packed your box. So it's really good to give back to the community with these senior boxes when the groups pack, and we have employee groups come down and pack, and it's a good team building experience as well.
Pack brings to mind the backpack program for kids. They can go home on Friday with food, right?
Yep, it's called our Backpack for Friday program. It's in 27 of our school districts. How it works is every Friday, this again, more volunteers at the school districts, they stuff bags into backpacks. So it's, that way other students don't know it's a special bag to take home. It's in their actual backpack. That way, it's anonymous, that people don't know who's receiving them. And so what it is, it feeds a family of 4 for the weekend.
That's awesome.
Yep.
And I think that there are a lot of families that just don't want anyone to know. They really don't want anyone to know that their family is food insecure, because it can be a little embarrassing, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about. You can always reach out to the SEMO Food Bank for assistance, especially with programs like that. What's the website so that they can find out more information about that Backpacks for Friday?
SEMOFoodBank.org.
Okay. And then I had a couple of questions about the role of the SEMO Food Bank in a disaster, because we've seen so many of these hurricane disasters. We haven't had a major disaster in southeast Missouri in quite some time. We've had some small, people will have home fires and things like that, but we haven't had a major disaster in our area lately. But what is the role that SEMO Food Bank plays as far as these major disasters go? We
have been fortunate without having a disaster, but we are prepared if one does happen. We have a lot of food in a spot, our location, our building, and we can get the food out with our trucks and get them to the locations that perhaps need assistance. Because in a disaster, there will be survivors, there will be people that, they may not be able to access their home, their work, so they will need food access. And we have the food on site that we can get to those in need. And as far as recent disasters, we actually have shipped water to hurricane victims and those in need in larger disasters nationwide. So those that are struggling from Hurricane Michael, they're receiving water from this area that people have donated. Yes, we have donated water to victims of the hurricanes. And they can always donate money. They can donate cash, right? Yes. To the SEMO Food Bank. Oh, for sure, yes. So with how it works with the cash, we can, so if you donate 1 can of corn, we have such more buying power because we buy such mass quantities, we can turn that $1 corn into, 20 cans of corn. So we have such more buying power because we buy such mass quantities and then distribute it to our agencies. That's awesome. They can find more information about tax benefits and how to donate on your website. Joey, thanks so much for coming by today. Really important topic, especially for this area. It is. Thank you. Thanks again. That's Chief Advancement Officer of the Southeast Missouri Food Bank, Joey Keys. After the break, we'll finish off the show with a community educator from the Missouri Department of Conservation, Sindupa Da Silva.
Hi! Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert? Oh, He took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes. And way over here, busy moms. No?
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, no, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
This is Cape Chronicle, and I'm Dr. Kane. We want to welcome Sandupa Da Silva, a naturalist for the Missouri Department of Conservation.
How are you, Audra?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad that you're here. So you're not in uniform today because we're going to talk about a variety of things. But I was excited because you graduated from Southeast.
Yes, 2 years ago.
And we'll get into where you came from and how you ended up here a little bit later. But you are working now for the Missouri Department of Conservation as a naturalist. What does that mean? I don't know what a naturalist does. I mean, I think I could guess, but you explain it.
The job encompasses quite a bit of things, but our primary duties are it's within the Outreach and Education Division. So our job is to educate the public, all ages, all sorts of communities, and people from all different backgrounds that come to the Nature Center and places that we go to as well. And we talk about everything from fisheries to plants to other natural resources, you name it. Most of our staff is qualified to talk about it. Now myself, I've been in this role for a little over 2 months now, so I'm very fresh. I can't say I'm an expert on it. I've dabbled more with fish than anything else, and we have some amazing staff members at the Nature Center that have rigorous experience in a lot of things that they are willing to talk about.
And I think that sometimes people don't realize how much you can actually do at the Nature and Conservation Center. It's in Cape County Park North, so you can just head right up Kings Highway and it's right there on the right. It's easy to get to, and there are a lot of fun things that go on, not just for adults, but for children as well. There are, like you said, it's an educational program. So if I'm going to put you on the spot, if I ask you what's probably your favorite program that you've had a part of since you started there, what would you say
that's
that it
tricky. See, I do the programs for the Snappers group, which are kids above 7, and so far I've done a program on monarch butterflies, and to me that was probably one of my favorite things I've done so far, because I was actually able to raise caterpillars and then have them go through the entire metamorphosis stage and then release them as butterflies and tag them and release them out into the wild. So I've got kids to see that, and actually had a small display set up at the Nature Center, so that would be my personal favorite so far. But we do so many programs for all ages and different groups of people that I enjoy all of it.
There are a lot of great things that happen, and I have a million stories, but I want to ask just a few more things about you and what prompted you to get into being involved in the environment. How long has it been since you came to the United States? Tell me a little bit about where you're from and what brought you here.
So I originally came to the United States back in 2011. I was 18. My mom was the sole reason that I'm here. She wanted me to pursue a higher education. I joke with my friends that my childhood was like that of Mowgli's. So running outside, pretty much, that was my form of entertainment. And then as I grew up, I wanted to get into the field of conservation itself, wanted to protect our natural resources, kind of be a voice for all things wild and natural. As human civilizations grow, there needs to be someone to speak for the other living critters on the planet. So as a child, I didn't really have that idea in place, but I knew that's what I wanted to get into. But here we are. Since 2011, I've finished my bachelor's, my master's, and I've been blessed, and I'm really lucky to be able to work for the conservation department. I've been with them for a little over 2 years now.
And so what is your end goal? If you're looking ahead, you want to get your doctorate,
yes.
You want to move on to what then?
So I am anticipating, or keep my fingers crossed, to be in a program by next year. I hope to be teaching, be doing research with endangered species and environmental toxicology, as well as teaching students and kind of spreading the message of conservation. The message that I really want to tell people, and I share this with my friends, is being conservative with the use of our natural resources, yet also promoting human growth, but at the same time sustaining life so that future generations, and I don't mean 5-10 years, I'm talking 50 to 100 years from now, so that our resources can sustain themselves for populations to come.
And okay, so you're talking about like global conservation, and you're from Sri Lanka. What is it like in Sri Lanka as far as conservation goes? What is the, I guess, what is the government stance on that as far as conservation goes?
That's a good question. So when I came over here, Sri Lanka, we looked at conservation from more of a protective standpoint. There wasn't as much engagement or management. For example, there aren't any regulated hunting as you guys have over here within the state of Missouri. We see elephants like you guys see deer over here pretty frequently. But we are on the stance of protecting them, leaving them be, putting up fences and stuff. However, since that time, things have changed a lot, especially with more of global pressure and global involvement. People are coming to Sri Lanka being a touristic hotspot, so there's a lot more conservation efforts going on. But when I left Sri Lanka, I had the ambition to get my education, to go back and improve that. However, now I set my goals on an international level.
And that's so exciting because I met you when you came here, and you've grown tremendously as not just as a student or as a conservationist, but as a person. And I have to say, it just impresses me more and more every time that we chat about what you have planned for the future. And
Thank you.
Glad to see you involved in conservation. It's always great to chat with you, Sindupas. Thank you so much for coming by.
My pleasure.
We've been talking with Missouri Department of Conservation naturalist Sindupa De Silva. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us today for Cape Chronicle. The program is a collaboration between the Department of Mass Media at Southeast Missouri State University and the City of Cape Girardeau. Our producer is Nicolette Brennan. Our executive producer is Dr. Jim Dufek. I'm Audrey Kane. Thanks for watching.